You wake up 2 hours late for work. Would you still go? Why? Why not? Yep. I'm usually punctual and my boss is not a huge pain in the ass. Also, if I don't go, the clients are more of a pain than my boss, and the next day I'd have to overwork myself to catch up on work. That's what people who are chronically late don't realize. If you're punctual 99% of the time, people don't get mad when you're late. They're usually genuinely worried that something went wrong. And if it was just a mistake, they tend to cut you slack because it isn't consistent behavior. I learned that while working a shitty kitchen job. Woke up like a half hour after my shift and just ran to work. Arrived just as service started, but my boss didn't give a shit. He was worried I was dead. Bro, I'm a fast food cashier and I'm always early around time, and I was 15 minutes late the other day, and my boss texted and called me, panicked, wondering if I was dead. Edit. I just got Employee of the Month, y'all. At 2.5k upvotes. Not to mention colleagues that have to make up for your absence where applicable. Not applicable to my case because I have a specialized role in my law firm. If there's any work I leave behind, only I can and have to do it. Yeah, so it's shooting yourself in the foot to take time off without planning it. I'm in the same boat, specialized role. Even holidays can be a problem if I don't do it right. I had this same problem. So I found a less stressful job. Huge pay cut, but I really haven't noticed thanks to the mental relief. Better to show up late than never. Just like periods. Frankly, never is fine with me. Expecting mine in about half a year. Congress. Seems weird to say congratulations about having her period in half a year. That seems like a long time to go between. Oh. Thanks for this comment. I spent far too long wondering why a 12-year-old was on Reddit before I realized pregnancy was a thing. Let's be honest, there are likely plenty of 12-year-olds on the site. I always imagine the age demographic for Reddit to kinda be all over the place. You'd think there's a way to see that data. You can't really tell because people will lie about their age. Late equals doghouse. No call no show equals fired guy. Fire guy becomes the fired guy. Ryan started the FIA. It was always burning since the world was turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we're trying to fight it. When I wake up on time, I still have this dilemma. My friend described it once as, you know those mornings where you wake up and lie in bed and just think, how badly do I need this job? LOL. Or when you're on your way to your job and you think, you know, if I just drove into that concrete barrier on the freeway, I wouldn't have to worry about work anymore. I should probably unbuckle my seatbelt first though. Sometimes I'm walking to work and I think, if someone would just hit me with their car, it'd really solve my problems right now. I mean, I would really hate to have to go to the hospital and potentially deal with an injury for the rest of my life, but I sure as shit wouldn't have to go to work that day. This TBH. I hate being forced to work so other people can make money while I'm barely able to take care of myself. When the bosses get their phones paid for by the company and come in 2 to 3 hours late regularly, but I get docked if I clock in even 1 minute late, and they are continuously tightening the purse strings and not giving raises this year. And they tell you they can't give raises this year in that condescending fake-ass sympathetic voice, like I know times are tough, but we're a team, no, we're a family, and I just need you guys to hold on and work hard and keep dreaming that at some arbitrary time in the future, you might get an extra 50 cents an hour. Not this year though, we can't afford it. Now excuse me, I'll be on vacation for the next couple weeks, you guys can run the place, right? Each and every morning I go through the 5 stages of grief. Denial. Work or school doesn't really matter. In the end, we are all small particles floating around in the universe. If the aliens don't work, neither should I anger. God damn it, I'm gonna have to go. I gotta put food on the table. Think about your future, you idiot. Bargaining? Okay, so I'm going, but if I go every day this week I can skip a day next week. Yep, that's a good deal to me. Depression. But what is the point of this? Why must I work? Why must I learn? What are we here on earth for? Cries. Acceptance. Makes cup of coffee and drives to work. Bargaining is too fucking real, Jesus Christ. Me too. This morning was rough. Edit. Seems like it's rough for a lot of us today. Hope your day get better, everyone. According to the lady in AP, that's called a case of the Mondays. Most definitely a case of the Mondays. Edit. I love Reddit. No man, shit no, I believe you'd get your ass kicked saying something like that. Nope. My job has a point-based attendance policy. Being late less than 1 hour is half a point, over an hour is 1 point. Calling off is also 1 point. We can call off up to 3 hours into our shift. After 3 it is considered a no-call no-show, which is worth 3 points. So no, it isn't worth even going to work by their policy. My old job had a policy where if you were late then your pay would start at the next 15-minute interval. You get a 9:03, pay starts 9:15. I was almost never late, though one day I got in just before my shift, but due to signing in, I wasn't ready to take calls till 9:03. I asked my manager, who was just sitting down himself, if my pay would be affected, seeing as it was the systems that prevented me signing on. He confirmed my pay started at 9:15. So I took off my headset and got my book out. He wasn't happy, said I should do the job as I am ready. I told him I would start when my pay did. I already used to get stuck on calls after my shift for no extra pay, no way am I doing it before. They also deducted pay for any time in the toilet. Fuck that place. Yes, I have flexible work hours, and as long as I fulfill my work duty within the month, I'm okay. I want a job like that. I hate going in 9 to 5 just to sit there doing nothing because I have to work a certain number of hours, regardless if there's any work left to do. Not the OC, but I'm hourly, I still need to get 40 if I want my full pay. My boss just gives zero shits if those hours are worked 9 to 5, 6 to 2, or 12 to 8. Trust me, hourly works out in the worker's favor more often than salary. Most places see salary as an excuse to just pile on additional work without increasing staffing. Hourly works out in the worker's favor more often than salary. That's because salary isn't for workers. Salary is for management, admin, and some professionals. A lot of companies have gotten in trouble for classifying workers as salaried when they don't qualify as salary positions. For my job, I get an official warning if I was 2 hours late. If I didn't show up at all, I'd likely get fired. Yeah, 2 hours is a bit ridiculous. If I have an employee no-call or no-show 30 min, I usually text them to check on them. If they went an hour without an answer, I'd call. No answer at that point is a problem. I'd notify HR, but nothing official would be done until we reach them one way or another. If at 2 hours they call me and say, oh shit, I slept through my alarm and my ringer was off, I'd ask them to get their ass in gear or let me know if they want to use personal time and take the day. I work in grocery and retail, and in both jobs the official policy is that you get in trouble for no call no show after 2 hours, but the reality is that they'll do it the way you described. I've seen someone show up 2 hours late because of sleeping through an alarm, and I missed a shift because of getting mixed up about what day of the week it was in that case. They called me a few hours in, I have them the honest reason, and they said not to worry about coming in since it was so late already, and neither of us got in trouble. Both of us were reliable employees overall, so that might have been a factor. If we had a history of unreliability, they might have been more likely, and justified, to think that we were lying. Ding ding ding. That's the big one. The amount of people I've seen in work over the years who would complain about poor treatment from management, and they are always the ones acting the bullocks being shite staff. You don't get sick days? Edit. Some of you guys are crazy. I simply ask the dude if he gets sick days. An official warning for being late seems strict, especially if it's a single or rare occurrence. How some of you jumped from me asking this to being a lazy slacker that is a shit employee is beyond me. At my job, you have given an hour advanced call out before a shift that you are late. If you don't, it's discipline. If you are not there for your shift, that's a no call no show. 2 of those and you are fired. Cut and dry. Nurse, if you are wondering. As a nurse, if you call in sick, I would pay you double to stay away. Edit. This comment blew up. Before I get gold, go give it to a nurses union subreddit or something. E2. For clarity, I am not a nurse. If I was responsible for paying nurses, I would not want them coming and sneezing on sick people. I just imagined the conversation, so the tests came back. You're autoimmune, and the nurse that drew the blood had the common cold. You have insurance, right? I wouldn't rush, however. You're already late. Might as well do things right. Take that shower, have that coffee, and listen to that audiobook on the way like you're supposed to be late. When you get to work, plan your tasks and go to town on them. Panicking about a bad situation will not change what has happened. Edit. I have crippling anxiety, and I usually strive to get places at least 15 minutes early. But if I'm hours late, it'll be like an overdrive of anxiety to the point that I'd be numb. So the calmness for me really is a manifestation of autopilot setting for a normal human. Also, gracious por la plata, kind stranger. This happens all too often. People wake up late, get into a panic, then rush to work like every second counts. It doesn't matter. You're already late, so why rush? All you're doing is causing more stress in an already stressful situation, not to mention creating a dangerous environment for yourself and those around you. Make the call. Sorry, I overslept, I'm on my way. I'll be there soon. No biggie, your boss may be perturbed, but would rather you be safe than sorry. No. Flight would be cancelled. And I'd probably be in big trouble. So, are you an airplane? Yep. I'm typing with my landing gear right now. How many years' experience do you have as a pilot? Is the job fulfilling? Is it fun? I'm thinking of going into aviation management and becoming one. Thanks. My current job? No, it's fucking hell, and it makes me miserable. But in general, yeah, I would go. That's how I feel. I'm treated generally pretty poorly at my work, and people generally dislike me for some reason. I called into work a couple days ago to say I was going to be late by half an hour, only to be talked to like a child and told essentially nope. You're coming in on time and that's that. It feels really weird to tell your work, hey sorry, but I'm running late. I'll be there in half an hour, and to just hear the words you're scheduled for this time. And that's it. I didn't even know what to say, so I was just like okay, you got it, and hung up. Like, look bro, I'm not calling to ask may I please be late, sir? I'm calling to say I'm gonna be late. That really irked me, and I ended up just not going in because I was pretty pissed, and in that moment thought, I should just quit right now. I start school in 2 weeks anyway. What's the point in sticking it out at a place I'm miserable at? So I ended up just not showing up, period. Now I'm at a position where I pretty much regret doing that, and now I want to go in on my next scheduled days to at least finish out the week. I at the very least have to go on to get my paycheck. It feels extremely awkward and I'm dying of anxiety over here. Judging by your comment, it sounds like this is just a filler job, so your current employer and co-workers will likely mean very little to you in the grand scheme of things. Let's say that you go in for your next scheduled shift, what's the worst thing that could happen? They bitch at you. You say that you tried calling to give them a heads up and that you were made to feel uncomfortable. There's really only a limited number of likely scenarios that could happen here, and none of them end horribly. If they fire you, you take your paycheck and move on. If they don't, you work your scheduled shifts and eventually still move on. That paycheck is owed to you, and they can make it as awkward as they'd like, but all you have to do is grab it, walk out and don't look back. For sure. That's the thing that really did it. I felt extremely uncomfortable when I got off the phone, and I was pissed that I was spoken to like as I see it a child. The worst that can happen is I get fired, and who cares in the end? I don't absolutely need this job to live. I'll just go in on Saturday and see what happens. Thanks for the advice. My company cares if work is done. I could be late and do the work done, or I can be on time and don't do the same work. In either case they don't care. When shit isn't done, then I get an info that things needs to be done. Same. The responses in this thread are making me realize that to be reasonably responsive to emails or phone calls and get your work done office culture is not at all the norm. And, for that matter, working in an office probably isn't the norm either. It isn't. I see astonished and even sometimes angry faces when I explain core hours and work from home to people. I explain to them that I still have to ship roughly 50 hours of work a week. They still seem to think it's unfair, that I'm cheating somehow. I usually have the same advice for these individuals. Rather than complain about something my workplace offers, try complaining to your bosses that yours doesn't. This is basically how I do it. 1. I wake up and realize I'm 2 hours late. A. Am I hungover? I. Yes. Call in sick. I. No. Go in and bring donuts or biscuits or bagels for everyone to make up for it. B. Am I sick? I. Yes. But I don't feel horrible. Work from home. I. Yes. And I feel like death. Call in sick. I. No. Go in and bring donuts or biscuits or bagels for everyone to make up for it. C. Is the late commute going to be abysmal because of traffic incidents? I. Yes. Work from home. I. No. Go in and bring donuts or biscuits or bagels for everyone to make up for it. D. Do I feel stressed from work lately? I. Yes. Call in sick and take a mental health day. I. No. Go in and bring donuts or biscuits or bagels for everyone to make up for it. If you're going to be late enough to bring snacks. Funny enough, that actually worked for me. LOL. A couple of jobs ago I was under a lot of stress and was late because of it. My boss just let it slide for a while, but eventually he had to give me a warning. Fair enough. I was late the day after the warning because of a medical emergency, but I brought him a coffee. He said, well, good, at least if you're going to be late, you can be late enough to bring me a coffee. We did eventually talk and we worked out a schedule that was better for me and all was fine, but anytime I was late after that I'd bring him a coffee. A nurse told me a funny story about a surgeon who has time management issues. They called him asking where he was because he was late. I don't remember if he forgot his shift or what, but he was significantly late already. He stopped to grab donuts for everyone on the way in. It wasn't an emergent surgery, but also not one he should have taken that detour to get snacks. I get a demerit, which my company takes very seriously. 3 demerits and you'll receive a citation. 5 citations and you're looking at a violation. 4 of those and you'll receive a verbal warning. Keep it up and you'll receive a written warning. 2 of those will land you in a world of hurt in the form of disciplinary review written up by Dwight and placed on the desk of his immediate superior. I want a copy of that on my desk by the end of the day, or you'll receive a full disadulation. And you don't even want to know what that is. That's all fine, but what happens when it escalates to a disadulation? Of course. Hey, why didn't you show up at work this morning? Everything okay? Yeah, sorry, I overslept. I figured those remaining 6 hours weren't worth the effort anymore to still come over. Okay, cool. Said no boss, ever. From all the places I've worked, I noticed that younger bosses are more accepting of coming in late. Whereas older generations have this: if you are on time, you are late nonsense. This had me dying. My bosses all are like this. Rip you. Feels good to have some understanding managers. There's this thing in Germany we call Gleitzeit. It lets you come and go whenever you want between 7 o'clock hours and 2000 hours, as long as you fulfill your daily target time. So you basically have 13 hours time to get your 7 to 8 hours of work done. Edit. Spelling and wow, this blew up LOL. That's how my office works, but I'm in the US. We don't get a cool name for it though. Edit. Apparently it's called flex time. I've already had like 50 people telling me that. Say something original. I thought it's called flexible work hours. Edit. It's called flex time. You think that's a cool name? Work-life balance? More like work, life, work. Am I right? I'm a contract creative. Sometimes the flex hours are great, sometimes it means you're grinding till 4 a.m. to absorb someone else's bad deadline estimate. So it goes. The WFH side of it is great. Very easy to grab coffee or lunch with pretty much anyone else you want, and I get to spend more time with my kids than most, so I take it. But yeah, after a hard sprint everything sucks, and you question a lot of life choices. Haha. I'm a software engineer literally in the midst of this right now. There's no crying in engineering, back to work. I'd still go in. My job is home-based and salaried though. As long as I work an hour I get credit for a full day. Back when I was bartending, same answer. Being late in the service industry is putting your work onto someone else. Get there so whoever is covering for you can go home, or so everyone's workload becomes more manageable. How do I get a home-based job where I can work an hour? Sheesh, I'll quit my job and work for you, right Mo? Many salaried positions are work an hour, counts for the day because you aren't paid to work hours, you're paid to get a job done. If you get the job done quicker, you have more time. If it takes you longer, you work longer. If you only work an hour every day, the job doesn't get done, your ass gets canned. Where I work is salaried. If you get the job done faster, they will ask you to help out a bit on something else. If you agree help out, they then assume you always have time for this new task and it's now your responsibility forever. This was the post office. I carried for 6 years. If you get your route done quickly, they make you help other carriers finish their routes. Now they assume you have extra time every day and start giving you extra mail to deliver after your own route is finished. Conversely, if you go really slow they will send people out to help you finish, so you do less work. There is literally no benefit to working hard, save for personal gratification, and only benefits from being a slug. I've done both. The first time I was honest, called as soon as I woke up, told my boss I overslept, and that I'd be going as soon as possible. Then a few months later, the same happened. It was a Monday morning, called in sick and sat at my couch for the whole day doing absolutely nothing. It was glorious. It also depends a lot on many different factors, what kind of job it is, how screwed your coworkers could be if you don't show up. If you care about those things, in my case it doesn't affect them at all, how your company manages these situations, how many strikes you have already and so on. Bottom line in my personal opinion is that mental health is really important, so if you need one day off to recharge your batteries, I'd do it. If you're not going just for the sake of it, also, still valid, but be aware of the possible repercussions it may develop. Agreed, mental health days are a thing. Your manager or your company may not recognize that, but that doesn't mean you can't work one in here and there. I employ about 200 people across a few businesses. For most of those businesses a no-call or no-show is basically the end. That puts you on the express path to termination. For most of those businesses, being 2 hours absent, then calling, then coming in the rest of your shift or regular day, isn't even recorded by HR or managers. For most of those businesses, being 2 hours absent, then calling in and taking a PTO day is just recorded as a PTO day. The same as if you scheduled it. Call, apologize to your boss, act professionally, and all will be forgotten within a week or so. Just act the way you'd want to be treated. This is where I find honesty is the best policy. I have called my manager before and just explained that I woke up late because I had a terrible night's sleep. Advised that I would rush a shower and be an ASAP. Normally goes down quite well if you're honestly apologetic and don't try to bullshit them. Yeah, it's still your job, and if you work 8-hour days, you'll still have 6 to go. Maybe you can stay late to make up the time? Regardless, oversleeping is a common screw-up. It doesn't mean that you just take the whole day off. You just go in late. You can take a sick day if you still have them. You can't call in sick 2 hours after your shift is meant to start though. At least in my job, you have to call at least an hour before, 24-hour industry. I would call up, apologize and offer to work late. Mistakes happen, and as long as it's not a regular thing, I think my company would be okay with that.
Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Tell me what you dislike or love about this video, so please comment below and hit the bell icon so you're notified anytime a new video is released. This is a WeCrow Media production.